fear, and anxiety are some of the most potent emotions that can grip a person, often limiting their potential and controlling their actions. These emotions, although normal and natural, can become paralyzing if they are not properly managed or understood. Tony Robbins, a renowned motivational speaker and life coach, has repeatedly emphasized the role of fear and anxiety in shaping people's lives and the importance of learning how to break free from their control. His perspective is that fear and anxiety are not external enemies, but internal patterns that anyone can trigger and anyone can change. This transformative approach offers a powerful method for overcoming these emotions and, ultimately, achieving a more fulfilling life. The first step to overcoming fear is to recognize that it is a mental construct rather than a physical reality. Tony Robbins frequently explains that fear is the only enemy, and it's not outside you. It's a pattern that anyone can trigger within and anyone can change. Fear itself is a deeply ingrained response to perceived threats, but those threats are often not as dangerous as they seem. Fear is an emotional reaction that can prevent a person from taking risks, pursuing their dreams, or even enjoying their present life. However, the power to conquer fear lies within the individual, and Tony Robbins urges people to break free from the shackles of this emotion by changing their internal dialogue and their perception of fear. One of the main reasons fear takes hold is that it plays on our need for safety and survival. In many situations, the body reacts to fear with a fight or flight response, which is meant to protect us from real dangers. However, many of the fears we experience are not related to immediate physical threats. Instead, they often stem from our internal worries about failure, rejection, or the unknown. Tony Robbins emphasizes a decision made from fear is almost always the wrong decision, because when you make a decision based on fear, you're living in a world of scarcity of some sort. Fear creates a false sense of danger, leading people to make decisions based on scarcity rather than abundance. This mindset can limit growth and prevent individuals from reaching their full potential. Therefore, it is crucial to recognize that the feeling of fear does not necessarily reflect a real danger, but rather a perceived threat that can be controlled. Robbins also points out how fear can be exacerbated by the societal and cultural narratives we are exposed to. We live in a world where fear is often cultivated as a means of control. The fastest way to control a population is fear, Robbins asserts. Media, political leaders, and even companies often capitalize on people's fear to push agendas or sell products. This constant exposure to fear-based messages can shape how we view the world, making us feel uncertain about the future and vulnerable to external threats. This fear creates a cycle of anxiety where we are constantly looking for security, control, and stability. Robbins suggests that we often value certainty above all else because it feels like a survival instinct. Yet, while certainty may provide a temporary sense of comfort, it does not lead to growth or fulfillment. When we feel uncertain, fear often follows. Robbins highlights that people's fear of uncertainty is directly tied to their need for control. However, true growth often occurs when we embrace the unknown and step out of our comfort zones. As Robbins notes, when you're feeling really uncertain, most people value certainty as a survival instinct. But this need for certainty can be limiting. Life is inherently uncertain, and embracing this uncertainty is a key to overcoming fear. The very act of embracing uncertainty and letting go of the need to control every aspect of our lives can create a sense of freedom and power that diminishes fear. Anxiety is another form of fear that often arises from our thoughts about the future. It is rooted in a desire to control what is beyond our control. Worrying about the future is wasting the present, Robbins says. Anxiety causes us to focus on potential problems that may never happen, trapping us in a cycle of worrying about what could go wrong. Robbins reminds us that the future is not something we can control, and focusing on it only robs us of our present peace. Anxiety is often a result of our mind creating worst-case scenarios, and as Robbins puts it, worry is living in a fearful story our mind creates about the future. Our minds have a tendency to overestimate the risks and catastrophize situations that are far from being actual threats. The key to overcoming anxiety is shifting our focus away from these imagined fears and instead choosing to live in the present. To overcome fear and anxiety, one must develop the mental strength to break free from these emotional patterns. Robbins encourages individuals to take action despite feeling fearful, arguing that the greatest enemy of fear is action. Fear thrives in stagnation and avoidance, while action diminishes its power. When we take action, no matter how small, we prove to ourselves that fear does not control us. By continuously confronting our fears and pushing through them, we not only reduce their impact, but also develop the resilience and confidence needed to navigate future challenges. Robbins suggests that the more we act, the less power fear has over us. As we build this habit of taking action, fear becomes less of an obstacle and more of a signal for growth and progress. Another crucial aspect of overcoming fear and anxiety is shifting our perspective on failure. Robbins emphasizes, your failure is not fatal, your failure is your feedback. Failure is often a source of fear as it represents rejection or a lack of success. However, Robbins teaches that failure is not the end, but rather a learning opportunity. By changing our mindset and viewing failure as feedback, we can use it as a stepping stone toward success. The fear of failure can paralyze us, but when we understand that failure is an essential part of the process, it becomes less intimidating. Embracing failure as a natural part of growth allows us to take risks and push beyond our comfort zones without the fear of making mistakes holding us back. The role of self-belief is another essential component in overcoming fear and anxiety. As Robbins explains, if you don't believe in yourself, no one else will. Fear and anxiety often stem from a lack of confidence and self-doubt. When we don't trust our abilities or believe that we are capable of handling challenges, fear takes over. Building self-belief is key to overcoming these emotions. By acknowledging our strengths, reflecting on past successes, and affirming our capabilities, we can develop the confidence to face any challenge that comes our way. Robbins encourages individuals to feed the best parts of themselves daily, saying, "Whatever you feed gets bigger, gets stronger." By consistently nurturing positive thoughts and self-affirmation, we can build a foundation of self-belief that keeps fear and anxiety at bay. Mindfulness and meditation are also powerful tools in overcoming fear and anxiety. Robbins suggests that mindfulness practices can help individuals stay grounded in the present moment and reduce the power of negative thoughts. When we are mindful, we are less likely to get lost in the what-ifs and the fear of the future. Instead, we learn to focus on what is happening right now, which helps to diminish the anxiety that arises from overthinking, as Robbins notes. Your mind is the interpreter of everything in your life. If you can control how your mind thinks, you can control your life. The ability to control our thoughts and stay focused on the present allows us to break free from the cycle of fear and anxiety. Finally, Tony Robbins emphasizes the importance of taking personal responsibility in overcoming fear and anxiety. Everything that happens in your life happens for a reason, Robbins asserts. This mindset encourages individuals to take responsibility for their experiences, knowing that they have the power to shape their lives. When we take responsibility for our fears and anxieties, we stop being victims of our emotions and become empowered to change them. As Robbins states, the quality of your life is the quality of your emotions. By choosing to change our emotional responses to fear and anxiety, we can dramatically improve the quality of our lives and move toward a life of greater fulfillment, freedom, and success. In conclusion, fear and anxiety are natural emotions, but they do not have to control our lives. As Tony Robbins teaches, overcoming these emotions begins with understanding that they are patterns within us that can be changed. Fear and anxiety are not external forces, but internal obstacles that can be dismantled through awareness, action, and self-belief. By adopting the right mindset taking consistent action, and embracing the present moment, we can break free from the grip of fear and anxiety and live more empowered lives. If you found this perspective helpful and would like to continue exploring ways to overcome fear and anxiety, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more insights. Stay tuned for more empowering content.